Hey folks and people, Joseph Arvidsson here, founder of the Criminologist Media Group, host of this YouTube channel, The Criminologist, as well as our podcast, The Criminologist. So kind of doing a crossover episode here. In this YouTube video, you're getting a behind the scenes look at another one of our podcast episodes. This will be episode 23, my interview with Glenn Tapia of the Alliance for Criminal Justice and Innovation, ACJI. I've already recorded the interview with Glenn, and so you're not going to see Glenn in studio here, but again, I'll look at what's behind that curtain. So I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction here, and then I'll be dropping in the interview with Glenn, and then you can see some sort of post-production tricks that I do, lest you are ever curious as to what goes on behind the scenes of a podcast production. So keep watching. So here we are in studio. I am fortunate enough, as you can see, to have a triple monitor setup here. I use Studio One for my editing software for podcasting, which I'm really happy with. Over here, because I'm not the sharpest tack all the time, I've got my podcast production tips and, of course, my Criminologist coffee mug to fuel me through this. These are available, folks. Just reach out to me at the Criminologist Podcast at gmail.com if you'd like one. And then over here is where I normally have my scripts written out, my production monologue, if you will. With today's interview, it'll be a little bit less of that because, again, the bulk of this podcast episode today is going to be my interview with Glenn. So I'm going to dive in, flip the camera around here, and start recording. Okay, so I just dropped in the standard intro that you all hear for the podcast opening, and then I did loop over that, the background of music that you hear. Now I'm going to record just a short little introduction to my interview, which I've already recorded with Glenn. So let's do that. La 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 la. All right, here we go. Record. Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Criminologist Podcast. Happy to have you all with us today. Today we're going to be taking a break from the supervision of our client caseload to have a conversation with yet another subject matter expert who I am thrilled to be bringing to you all. He is Glenn Tapia of ACJI, the Alliance for Criminal Justice Innovation, based out of Denver, Colorado. I actually met Glenn a few years ago when he was presenting at a conference here in my home state of Minnesota. I was very impressed with what he had to say regarding implementation science. I tracked him down after his presentation. Thought I told him what a great job he did. And then I reached out to him subsequent to that, and our paths have continued to cross since then. I actually attended as executive director of the Paragon Group, Glenn's 3-day leadership and implementation academy out in Denver, Colorado back in July of 2019. And again, always impressed with what Glenn has to say. He brings such positive energy and vision to what he does. We really need more people like Glenn in leadership positions, and obviously was thrilled when he agreed to speak with me for an interview. So without any further ado, I would like to bring to you all Glenn Tapia of ACJI. Okay, now like I said, I'm going to insert that pre-recorded interview into the podcast. So we'll be right back. Pew! Didn't hit the stop button, Joe. 1 second, folks. Okay, I just dropped in that audio clip of Glenn. I'm just going to wrap up the episode here with some final thoughts. So here we go. Back to the art of podcasting. And if you did not, folks, catch it during the interview, again, I will leave the website for ACJI, the Alliance for Criminal Justice Innovation, within the episode description of the show you're listening to now. To that end, if you want to learn more about ACJI and or implementing evidence-based practices, if you have not visited our YouTube channel as of yet, or even lately, I've gone in and reconfigured those playlists. So rather than just, a hodgepodge of my videos floating around, I've organized them into playlists. So you'll see my desistance from crime playlist. I've got a Criminologist Podcast playlist, an EBP in corrections, subject matter experts playlist, and an implementing evidence-based practices playlist. So just to give you an idea, if you click on that playlist, you'll see an APPA webinar that Glenn did entitled "You Can't Read the Label from Inside the Jar." I've got a video there from Guy Burgon, and then other videos as well, including a great video by Dr. Brandon Matthews on the correctional system. If you haven't seen that, that's a must view. And then, as I noted, I've also set up a playlist with not only all of my homegrown desistance videos on my ongoing series as to the topic of desistance from crime, but I've got an awesome video in there from Fergus McNeil over in Glasgow, Scotland, and also a great video from Shad Maruna, who's now over in Belfast, and a great video regarding desistance and the implications with juveniles and the benefits of diverting them from the system ASAP by Alex Beccaro. So again, you can check all those out. Again, there's some fun little videos around the podcast, like the one you're listening to now. I'm actually recording sort of a behind the scenes, which will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. And then finally, evidence-based practice and corrections. Again, some of my stuff, also stuff from thought leaders such as Ed Latessa, Guy Burgon, and of course, James Bonta. So again, it's kind of a neat little way, rather than flying across the country to attend a correctional conference, you can simply go to the Criminologist channel and see all those great folks collected in one concise spot for you. So again, I encourage you to check out and even subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Criminologist. Well, okay, that concludes this episode. Again, a big thanks to Glenn Tapia out in Denver, and shout out to his awesome ACJI team. Glenn mentioned during his interview, he was using the analogy of how we shouldn't be so afraid of failures in pursuit of our goals. And he was using the analogy of how he plays an instrument, he plays in a band, and he's always on this learning curve. So I thought as a neat little treat, let's leave you with a little bit of that, the music of Glenn Tapia. All right, now I've got to drop that MP4, MP3 file in, and then I will wrap it up with the usual closing of the podcast. Okay. If you're watching this YouTube and you haven't checked out the podcast, please do so. This is episode 23, a chat with Glenn Tapia. And if you haven't yet, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Check out our other fun videos, and keep on watching because I'm adding to that library all the time. All right, folks, I hope you found this interesting and entertaining. Be well.